Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome to Glue Guys. I'm Chris Phillips. He is Anthony Ranaudo. We have got a jam-packed show here on this Monday, March the 9th, a weekend in which we thought there wouldn't be a whole lot of drama. The last non-conference weekend for SEC baseball. Boy, oh boy, were we in for a surprise, a weekend in which many across the country are now asking, is this a down year for the SEC on the diamond? We'll talk about all that, much more. Also, of course, the midweek is upon us. We'll lock in some predictions. We've got the latest top 25. We will react to all of that here on a jam-packed Monday. And, of course, your questions, your comments as always. Guys, before we get going, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts all across your favorite social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, make sure you check out our friends over at Underdog, because as always, we are brought to you by our friends at Underdog. Download the Underdog app today. Use promo code SECU to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Once again, that's the Underdog app, promo code SECU to score $75 in bonus entries today. I am Chris Phillips. He is 2009 national champion, former LSU Tiger, and former big leaguer Anthony Ranaudo. This is Glue Guys, SEC Unfiltered's bi-weekly SEC baseball show, and dare I say, the best SEC baseball show on the internet. Again, jam-packed show here on this Monday, March the 9th. First things first, Anthony, appreciate you taking the time. Really excited to be back in the saddle with you. I want to say thank you to Anthony Ranaudo for pinch hitting and filling in late last week. I won't spend a lot of time on it because obviously you guys are ready to get into the baseball. I'm ready to get into the baseball as well. Anthony, it's been a crazy last 4 or 5 days for yours truly, to a point in which, I mean, at one point I know I was texting you back and forth. I was thinking, am I going to have to submit myself to urgent care? What did I ever do? Thinking I was tougher than the elevation going on the road to Colorado. But the good news is this: we're on the up and up. We are here. Excited to be here with you, my friend. I will never, and certainly I didn't before, but never take it for granted, because as a wise man once said, a healthy man wants 1,000 things, but a sick man wants one thing. And when I was down and out, I wanted only one thing, and that is to be alive and kicking and here on the air with you, my man. So, again, appreciate you holding it down on Friday, and obviously Friday Night Spikes. I really do appreciate that while I was absent.
Yeah, I was worried about you, man. I'm happy you're back. It was good. The chat saved me. We had some good people in there Friday night, but I definitely got my media hat on Friday. You know, two shows. I was like 3 hours live. It was crazy, yeah, but it was fun. It was a good time, and like I said, there was a good amount of people in the chat on Friday. A lot of good stuff to talk about. And it was more of a wild weekend than I thought it was going to be leading up to SEC play for sure. So. Definitely a good stuff to chop it up. And yes, to everybody in the chat, this is my apartment room, and I do have a gold jersey in the background. That is the one that I wore to win the championship in 2009. You can kind of see it. Hey. The World Series patches on there, yeah. So that is the official one.
Well, I'm sure LSU fans really appreciate you doing that, Anthony, because they need all the good vibes they can get here on this Monday. We'll get into that more in just a second. But final thing I'll say is this. I know that my guy Chinook feels for me, because if he's not commenting on the fact that we were a minute or two late today, if he's looking past that, you know he's taking it easy on me today. So listen, I'm good to go. You don't have to take it easy on me today. It's totally fine. I'm a grown ass man. I can handle it. So don't hold back from normal. Again, feels good to be back, my man. Like I said, I will be hanging out around sea level for quite a while. I'm built by sea level, born at sea level, and I probably belong, Anthony, at sea level. I don't know what I was thinking getting out there in the 10,000 plus foot elevation. So back to the bayou or back to the coast I go is very, very safe to say. But again, lots to get into, guys. Like I said, I appreciate you all rocking and rolling with the punches. It means the absolute world. I really can't say that enough. I know we joke and we kid, but you guys' support and love means the absolute most. And thank you for supporting our guy Anthony Ranaudo on Friday when he was double dipping with the show and Friday Night Spikes. And for me to miss those shows, you know, I had to be down and out, because I wanted like hell to come on, especially Friday night. And it was just, it would not have been pretty. So I decided to let you run with the reins. Really quickly, Anthony, before we get going, because like I said, I do want to talk about the weekend. We had a very unexpected wacky weekend in the SEC, and a lot of people are asking questions now, some fair, some I think very unfair. More on that in a moment. Anthony, I'm really excited for this week, not only for today, not only for conference play beginning this weekend, but what comes with that. Our pick'em will officially start this week. Anthony Ranaudo and I will be picking every single SEC series. We're going to be going head-to-head because, we're not going to agree on every single pick. Probably most of them we will not agree on. We're going to be picking winners of each series. We're going to keep the record, and we're going to go start to finish from the beginning of SEC play all the way to the end. So you can expect that. We'll have it in graphic form, dropping every Thursday throughout the rest of the baseball season. Really excited. And listen, I know you know the game, but you better bring it, brother. You better bring it. I'm coming. This is my opportunity to really prove myself as ball knower. So
I feel like you know the game too. Trust me. We have some good debates, and I've shared some wrong answers plenty of times on here. So I'm sure we're gonna hash it out. It'll be really fun. I feel like I know the pitchers really well, but hitters. I feel like you know hitters really well too. So I think we're gonna be a good tandem. But I can't wait for that. That's my favorite thing. Underdog lets us make some picks, and I have some fun on some sports books too. So I think this is just the official time that we put it out there. We actually have to have receipts on the internet, and it'll be fun. So, but I'm also very excited, dude. I'm like a psycho. Like my notebook here is crazy. I'm excited to just analyze 8 games a weekend rather than 16 that I've been doing now. You know what I'm saying, with non-conference. So that's exciting too.
Yeah, and on that note, by the way, Anthony, your pitcher power rankings came out this morning. We'll have a graphic just like we did last week to go with that. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Really fun and exciting stuff to get the week going. But like I mentioned, Anthony, let's dive into the baseball because like we talked about, I don't think you or I really expected the dramatics that were going to come with this Monday show. I think, honestly, late last week, I was expecting when you look at the slate, it'll be very ho-hum. We're going to spend a little bit of a time just kind of glossing over, hey, pretty much everybody in the SEC took care of their business. Maybe some teams dropped a game here or there, but there really isn't anything to certainly overreact to or draw any conclusions from. Well, that was not the case. Here's what's interesting, Anthony, because the big question coming out of this weekend from people, and I definitely want to dive into this, is the SEC overrated, or is the SEC in for a down season, or is the league down overall? Because you saw LSU and Florida both lose their series. LSU obviously has been scuffling of late. First time since 2007, Anthony, Paul Maneri's first year. LSU has 5 losses to non-P4 teams before conference play even gets going. Florida loses 2 of 3 to High Point, and you very well could argue they should have got swept. I mean, they were lucky to win that final game. High Point's bullpen just completely fell apart in the 9th inning, surrendering 4 runs. But they were the only 2, unless I'm forgetting one, they were the only 2 SEC teams that actually lost a series. You had Vandy drop the series finale to North Dakota State. You had Tennessee drop the series finale to Wright State. Arkansas lost to Stetson. They actually play the final game of a 4-game set today in Fayetteville. So, Anthony, with all that being said, we can dive into specifics here in a moment because especially on the LSU side, I want to get your thoughts on what LSU is currently going through. But your reaction to the whole narrative from people, whether it be conference-wide, but I think nationally is more where I'm seeing it, the whole conversation about the SEC being quote-unquote down.
I disagree. I think the SEC is as strong as it's ever been. I really do. And I think what's happening, Chris, really is college baseball has turned up a notch as a whole. I think in a way, college baseball is becoming more of a development hub. I think it's becoming a more popular option. I think we're seeing better players at a younger age too. So I think freshmen are making impacts and then transferring quicker and playing at schools, immediately. So I don't think it's necessarily the SEC is down. And I think baseball is baseball. If we look at the losses this weekend too, right? Like some weird shit happened like around the league. It's just weird. And I think when SEC comes, we're going to see all that play out. I do the power rankings every weekend because I love watching college baseball and I love watching pitchers. These pitchers, dude, it's hard making 25 guys. I'm like, how is this guy 20th? Like, he's a first rounder. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't think the SEC is down. I really don't. I think it's right where it needs to be. I think people are overreacting if that's their reaction. I think college baseball is just evolving as a whole.
Yeah, Anthony, I think it's a massive overreaction. And I think from a lot of the people that you're hearing this from, the whole, the SEC is down, the SEC isn't as good as it's been in years past. Number one, it's been so good in the previous years that if it took a step back of any kind, it's still the best conference in college baseball, and it's probably not even close. So let's give them their flowers when it comes to that. From most of the people I see the conversation of the SEC is down, most of the people saying that want the SEC to be down, if we're being totally honest. I mean, really, truly. Like, I think they're pushing that narrative because that's what they hope to come true and not necessarily because of what is true. Like, is LSU going through it? Absolutely. And, like, them struggling, I think people use them as the poster boy. Like, see, the SEC is down when there's 15 other teams. But LSU is the standard of college baseball. They won the College World Series last year. I get it. When your quote-unquote best team is struggling the way that they are, that's what can happen. But it's an overreaction the same way, Anthony, in my opinion. If the SEC had gone undefeated this past weekend and we came out, you and I, and said, see, the SEC should be promoted to the major leagues, man. They should actually just be playing AA and AAA teams every weekend. Like, the SEC is so much better than everybody else that it's unfair. We're going to have 8 SEC teams in Omaha. It's an overreaction, I think, the same way that if you were overreacting to the SEC dominating everyone over the weekend versus, again, only 2 teams losing their series. I get Vandy didn't look very good on Sunday to a North Dakota State team that has only won a handful of games. Tennessee gets shut out on Sunday, and they had to win, I believe it was on Friday, via a walk-off. I mean, like, I get it. There's teams across the league that aren't playing great, but, this is why I always say, Anthony, like, get me to conference play. Like, that to me is what really matters. The new season starts on Friday. The men get separated from the boys. Like this is where we're going to find out who these clubs really are. So I agree with you. I think it's a massive overreaction. And here's the thing. Get your shots in while you can at the SEC. Get your shots in because we're all going to look up in June, Anthony. You know it as well as I do. We're going to look up in June, and I don't know if LSU is going to turn it around. I don't know if Florida is going to turn it around. I don't know if, who's going to get better, who's going to get worse. But there's going to be probably at least 3 or 4 SEC teams standing tall in Omaha. It's going to happen. Like,
it has to happen, Chris. I just like if you know baseball and you watch baseball enough and you watch Major League Baseball, you can watch 6 different rotations in the SEC and look at those guys and identify major league arms that are going to be pitching in 2 or 3 years on your TVs, maybe less, honestly, some of these guys, right? And stuff like that. So yes, we don't, like, to your point, it might not be LSU, it might not be Florida, but it could be Oklahoma. It could be, right. There's so many arms. There's so many rotations that, again, I'm doing this work every week. So no, I don't think the SEC is down. And I think the level of baseball has evolved to the point that, and again, it's what makes our game so great is anybody can beat anybody on any given night. And then when the playing field is evened out a little bit more, in my opinion, because player development's becoming a little bit more universal and you can do more remote things. So like, the indoor outdoor thing isn't as dramatized, as it used to be. I think there's just a more even level playing field, and on any given night, a mid-major with a good arm can beat a power school. So a power 4 school. So I think it makes it fun and it makes the game that much more interesting, and it makes our job that much more fun because we get to talk about a ton of more shit, and we got a bunch of different fan base angry at everybody.
Certainly more parity across the game of college baseball, which is great for college baseball. I think college baseball fans would admit until it happens to your favorite team. And then that's when the griping and the complaining happens. Anthony, let's zoom in on we got to start with LSU. I know people will bitch and moan in the comments because we're starting with LSU again, but they are the biggest story, I think, in the SEC coming out of this weekend. Anthony, I don't know if it's my fault because ever since I went to Jacksonville and came on these airwaves and told you how good I thought they were and how tough that lineup was, brother, they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat at the very moment. Outside of what they did on Friday, which makes it even more maddening because you're like, you feel like it's in there. I mean, they dropped the, 15 spot on Friday night. Jake Brown hits 3 home runs in the game. And then Saturday and Sunday, we go right back to what LSU's been doing over the last, 8 or 9 games or what have you. Again, 5 losses to non-Power 4 teams before SEC play. Anthony, if I had told you that was going to happen in the preseason, you probably would have submitted me to a psych ward. Like you would have said I was crazy. You're watching this LSU team, I know, as closely as any. LSU fans are frustrated. I don't think they're hitting the panic button. When you got a guy like Jay Johnson, you don't hit the panic button. But I think there's a lot of people that are at least looking at it. Your thoughts on this team? What is your biggest takeaway right now with them? Like what do you see when you watch them, and can it be corrected?
Yeah, it definitely can be corrected, and I think LSU fans love hanging out in that panic button zone. They just love like teetering with that line. And so if I start seeing some shit about fire Jay, I'm gonna get all over these LSU fans on Twitter and everything. But I think what's happening, and again, this is just my hypothesis. It's really hard to win after you win a national championship, just because there's so many elements against you. There's so many expectations. You're under a microscope. You get everybody's best bolt, right? So I think LSU is facing that like dilemma, the championship dilemma almost. And then, I think ultimately their bats are just a little cold right now. I don't think Stephen Milam's going to be a 250 hitter. I think he's going to bat 320, 350, like in that range. So he's probably about to get really hot and have a good stretch in the SEC. I think Zach York's going to hit more homers and not strike out and miss balls like he is right now. And so I think you're just seeing a team go through a slump. And that's where, we know it's all in there. It happened on Friday night, to your point, and then they're just slumping. But the arms are really special. And I saw it in the chats a little bit. The bullpen depth is a little bit of a concern for me, and I think that's going to be the biggest question mark that I'm taking away right now. That's an actual okay, let me really analyze this from a baseball lens. I think the bats are going to be fine, and it's more just finding that lineup that is solidified. Obviously, getting Stanfield back will be a help because there's a little bit of a defensive liability in left field right now, and we saw that play out a few times this weekend. And when the bats are not as hot, that gets magnified in some losses. So I think there's just some little things here and there that need to click. But I think because the bar is set so high, and then to your point, LSU is the poster boy for college baseball, so there's a lot of clickbait and headlines about LSU losing to these non-Power 4 schools and things like that. So I think it's more of that narrative and that type of situation than anything else. And I think the bats will be fine. Jay will figure out the right lineup. And I think the arms are going to dominate down the stretch and be just fine and be an adequate rotation. And this team will be fine.
Anthony, as you could imagine, or at least, believe it or not, I got LSU fans a little irritated with me last night when I wasn't taking a victory lap, by the way, but I had so many people in the preseason that acted like it was insane to insinuate this team wasn't going to go back to Omaha. This team just might struggle a little bit. And I am surprised the level they're struggling. And again, I wasn't taking a victory lap when I just simply said, do you remember when people act like I was a lunatic because I said LSU wouldn't go to Omaha? Good times. I'm not even hitting the panic button on LSU because, again, conference play is where you make or break the season. There's going to be teams, we'll talk about it more on Thursday, Anthony. I fully believe there's going to be teams that, I don't know if flip a switch is the right word, but there's going to be teams that turn it on and play much better than what they have been in non-conference play. And there's going to be teams that have been really good through non-con, that have been beating up on lesser competition, that are going to get humbled. So I don't overreact to it. I still think LSU is going to be a factor, but they got to get it turned around quick. The good news, like you mentioned, the foundation of their club is still strong, that being the pitching, specifically the starting rotation. I mean, like William Schmidt, for example, I thought he was, and I know he's in your top 10 for your pitcher power rankings. I mean, I thought he looked phenomenal yesterday and deserved a much better fate, obviously, than what he got. Obviously, the bullpen didn't pitch great, but they're just not swinging it right now. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's just you're not swinging.
And that's and that.
Anthony, I think we lost you. I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but I think we lost you. The chat is saying that Mr. Ranaudo either got muted or it's not glue guys without technical issues. It's not. I love it. This is great. This is great. This is great. They can hear me. Apparently, they can't hear you. We had this issue when I came on before we got going, believe it or not, y'all. So, yeah. Anyways, like Anthony was saying, he'll come back in a second. Like Anthony was saying, yeah, the bats are ice cold for LSU. That's really all it comes down to. I think they're going to get it turned around. I don't think it's a reason to hit the panic button necessarily, although I understand the struggles. Again, you have 5 losses to non-power 4 teams. It's a reason to be frustrated. There's no doubt it's a reason to be frustrated. But I mean, you have the best coach in college baseball in Jay Johnson. So who else is going to get it turned around? Who else do you trust more to get it turned around? And I believe we've got Anthony Ranaudo back. Paging AR. I heard something.
Am I good? Am I good?
Now we got you. Now we got you. Do you also –
that was –
side note. Do you also have the issue where – are you on a Mac?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac, but I was using a different
Does your
mic.
iPhone try to connect to your Mac as your microphone?
That's what just happened.
Whoever made that feature should be kicked in the balls is all I got to say. You talk about kangaroo court.
Yes.
That's the ultimate, like the feature that none of us asked for. None of us asked for.
I didn't. That was the first time that I've ever dealt with that. Yeah. So that was really interesting. Like my phone was like, and I couldn't figure out how to disconnect it. And yeah, my bad, guys. But we're back.
By the way, for those commenting about my video, we had a power outage this morning at my apartment. It actually came on about an hour ago, but for some reason the Wi-Fi is being finicky, will not connect. So we're doing this off of a hotspot. I just checked the video on my end, though. It actually looks pretty clear on my end. I don't know if for certain people if it's looking bad, but whatever. Either way, we're in mid-season form now. We're in.
You look good. You look good on my phone and everything. It looks pretty solid.
Whatever. It is what it is, dude. We're in mid-season form. Listen, we fight through the adversity just like LSU is trying to do. Either way, we can move on, Anthony. We got a lot of other teams to get into, but I would say this: not hitting the panic button on LSU. Lots to correct, but they got to come out of this slump sooner rather than later because the Vanderbilt Commodores are waiting in Nashville. So,
and that's the one thing I will say is I do think that if LSU fans, if there's a breath of fresh air, Vanderbilt's struggling really bad right now, and their pitching is kind of that question mark for them, for me, right? So I think like matchup wise, LSU's strength is on the mound right now, and that can kind of negate their bats. Hopefully, right? And LSU, if you can swing it just a little bit against Vandy's struggling pitching staff. If Austin Nye is back, that'll be interesting because they said it's just some bicep tendonitis. So that'll be an interesting development over this week to see if he's back in there on Saturday. But at least they have Vanderbilt who's struggling a little bit right now too. So I think they'll figure it out. I really do. And like I said, I was kind of saying before I got cut off was like they have all their up the middle prime positions kind of answered, right? So those other filler spots, they'll fill around all those prime guys. Those guys will figure it out. Jay Johnson, the coaching staff, they're going to be fine. Like the eye test on the pitching staff, everything. So I think my boys will be all right.
By the way, LSU struggles, I will admit, is leading to some of the funniest Jay Johnson quotes I've ever seen, Anthony. I don't know if you saw this one. After the game yesterday, he was asked about the teams at bats. He said, quote, "The take is our best friend right now. Far more good is happening when we don't swing than when we do swing." He's actually like, I've noticed, I'm like, Jay is actually low-key pretty funny. So
Jay's got some humor to him, yeah, and he's dry with it too. It's funny, yeah, like
yeah. And I think he was dead serious, but I got a chuckle out of that for sure. The other big story, Anthony, the Florida Gators. I think Florida over the weekend looked a lot more like the Florida you picked them to be in the preseason than the Florida that I picked them to be in the preseason. Again, I will tell you this. Isn't it interesting when you lose 2 or 3, but you win the Sunday game? There's a different vibe coming out of the weekend of like, hey, we still lost 2 or 3, but we have some momentum coming out, especially the way they won Sunday when they cheated death. Thoughts on Florida? I mean, again, here's what I would say, Anthony. If we're not hitting the panic button on LSU, I don't think it's fair to hit the panic button on Florida because Florida hasn't had a string of games like LSU has had where it's not just a weekend. It's been 6, 7, 8 games. They haven't played well. I mean, Florida was playing great baseball. They had the longest winning streak in college baseball going into Friday. 13 straight they had won. And then they lose 2 of 3 to High Point. A High Point team that, to be fair, I think is a pretty good team. Now, I know there's a lot of Tennessee fans. Some of them will probably be watching this. I was getting comments all week, and Anthony, we're ready for you to bury Florida just like you buried Tennessee. I'm not saying them losing 2 of 3 is a good thing, and like it's certainly something to watch for, but I think Florida's going to be fine. Again, Anthony, I really do. Like there were things that were concerning, and I think the more frustrating thing is like the inconsistencies a little bit. Like we talked about, with Florida, like, hey, this regular season's really important for them. They've been sort of lackluster in the regular season, but I don't think this takes away that they can still have a good regular season. Here's the good news for them, Anthony, not jumping too far ahead. They open SEC play with South Carolina in Gainesville. So It's not like they're diving headfirst into this gauntlet immediately. They've got one midweek game like everybody else, got a couple days to get off your feet, then you jump into conference play. I'm not overreacting to Florida's performance over the weekend. Not to excuse it, but I'm not overreacting.
I'm not either, and I was kind of off them in the beginning part of the year, but again, the eye test tells me that they're a really good team. And if you know anything even about Kevin O'Sullivan's teams, is they have some weird weekends like this throughout the year. We've talked about it on the show too, losing midweek games against some good Florida schools, right? Like, and again, baseball's funny how if you win the right games, that's really what matters, right? And Jay Johnson even talks about that as like a lot of LSU fans get frustrated sometimes that he doesn't care, or it seems like he doesn't care about the SEC tournament. But it's like if you really focus on winning the right games, that's what matters. And so for me, the eye test is Liam Peterson. That motherfucker is a dude. That first inning,
he dealt Friday. He dealt
97 to 99 that first inning. I mean, he's electric. And really, you see it. The only thing that I see, and again, if I was his pitching coach, I'd be like, hey, man, if you ever yank a heater, you're not allowed to throw another heater because he seems like you know what I'm saying? Like he'll go 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 and have to work his way back. And that's the one thing that I just want to see him not do, where if he yanks a heater, says, all right, screw it. Next one's a chain or a slider or a curveball, and he gets the feel back within 1 or 2 pitches versus it taking him 4 or 5 pitches. I think that's his next step in his true development into becoming an ace that can go 6 or 7 innings. And that's that little difference of having to use 2 or 3 arms before you get to Barbary, however you say his name, right? And obviously he gave it up this weekend, but last weekend he was pretty electric. And if you can pass the ball right to him on a Friday night and eliminate that middle ground, not that those guys did anything wrong because they actually held it down pretty strong this weekend, but those are just the little things where you eliminate that risk. I'm high on Florida. Their bats are there. The Lawson kid, I mean, is legit as it comes. So I'm high on Florida and like I said on, I think it was Friday night, like my questions are answered. Like even though they lost, like my questions are answered as far as the quality of team that they are. So I think they'll be fine down the stretch, in my opinion. I know you're high on Aiden King, so give me your take on, because I'm not like wowed. I'm not like, oh, I'm off Aiden King, but like I know you're high on him, and I just want to see him. There's been some weird shit happening in his starts where it's like he doesn't go past the 3rd or 4th inning. So
yeah, I think one of the things, I think the velo's down a little bit, which is a little bit interesting. And this was something I was told in the preseason that between him and Cooper Walls, the Sunday guy, the Hawaii guy. Yeah, if they had to, in a 1-game sample size, if they had to win 1 game and it was between Aiden King and Cooper Walls, they'd probably actually go Cooper Walls, which says a lot. I mean, you can look at that one of 2 ways. Is it because Cooper Walls was that dominant, or has Aiden King not quite been as sharp as he was as a freshman. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to explain.
The swing and miss is just not there as much as it was for
Yeah.
me. That's the one thing that I'm like, there's just a little, that's all.
Yeah.
Versus,
And I will say this, to be fair, like he was good in non-con, but he really cut it on in SEC play last year. You know, it's weird to think like, all right, you're going to face better competition. You're going to pitch that much better. Some guys are wired weird. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah. Some dudes just, they raise their level of play with the level of competition. Not to say that's how you should do, but that just seems like some guys do that. So, yeah, this next weekend, I know it's South Carolina, but his start will be very, very interesting. I mean, they're obviously going to need him to be solid and go deep into games to have an opportunity to make the kind of run they want to have. But yeah, he did not have his best stuff, far from it, on Saturday. And again, they got really, really fortunate to win that Sunday game. So
yeah, that's so crazy. I cannot believe that. Every time I looked at the score, I was like, are you kidding me? This is so crazy. Yeah.
I would say this, though, as we get off the teams that lost their series, I don't think you ever want to lose a series necessarily. But, Anthony, is there something not to be said about you'd rather go through some adversity before you get to conference play than waiting to that first conference weekend and getting punched in the face if it happens? I'm not saying it's going to, and I'm not damning Texas and Mississippi State for being where they are and just rolling through the competition. But you can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it as, hey, this is a major red flag and we're in for a really long year. Or we can use this as an opportunity to learn, thus for when we get into the fire to SEC play and we run into some adversity, we have been here and overcome it already to this point in the season. Only time will tell. We don't know the makeup of these teams necessarily, but we'll find out who the adversity makes or breaks, because baseball, the adversity is going to come for Texas. It's going to come for State. It's going to come for everybody. You can't run from it in this game.
Yeah. I was on the radio this morning, Lafayette, Louisiana radio. And I was like, guys, I think it's so much better that LSU is going through this adversity now rather than the middle of conference, right? And I think you honestly, because the radio host asked me, said, how long do you think they have before we should be pressing the panic button? I said, honestly, 15 games into the SEC. If we're 15 games in the SEC and we're still having these struggles, then we should really hit the panic button because we're running out of time. But it's really about playing right at the right time. Like, that's really what it's about. So yes, to your point, right? It's great being undefeated going to SEC play and probably builds the RPI, but at some point Texas is gonna hit some sort of struggle, and it's a matter of how they weather that storm, how many wins they can get out of that, right? But that's right. It could be right in the middle of SEC play. It could be right before the postseason, right? And so again, I think my dad kind of always taught me in baseball, right? Like, whenever you have a struggle point, like law of averages says, like, if this is a 600, 700% win team, they've lost 5 out of their last 6. Like, what's about to happen? That's kind of the perspective that I've always taken, right? So law of averages tells me, that's probably okay for LSU and Florida.
Again, LSU and Florida, the only SEC teams losing series, Anthony, over the weekend. We did have other teams that dropped games. Vandy dropped their series finale to North Dakota State. Tennessee dropped the series finale to Wright State. Arkansas lost to Stetson. Again, they've got a final game actually today, game 4 of the 4-game set. Of those teams I mentioned, anything specifically jump out? I would probably say the team I'm most concerned about, I think concerned is the right word. Vanderbilt. I just don't know what Vandy is, right? Like, they had that really tough weekend in Vegas. They lose. I believe they lost a midweek, and then they came back and beat Troy, and they had the scuffle. I wasn't able to talk to you about that one. They had the scuffle against Troy after they beat them in the midweek in Nashville. And then, they take care of business against North Dakota State for the most part, but then you lose the final game, and it just leaves this bad taste in your mouth. Vandy's a team that is really, really tough to figure out right now. And if you see it on social media, by the way, we got a little heat in the preseason for bringing up the question about Tim Corbin. And I know he's a legend, but the locals are frustrated, bro. They're not. They don't feel like Vandy baseball is where it's supposed to be.
And I don't think it is where it's supposed to be right now, Chris. I was actually thinking that this weekend because Vandy used to be the spot where you just trusted they were going to develop dudes like arms wise, right? And they were going to have these mid 90s arms. They were going to have all these stud starters. They were going to roll out all these. I mean, you look around the league, everybody's caught up to that. Like everybody does that now. And that used to be like Vandy's exception. And then they would put together some good offensive teams to complement it, right? Or have some right bats. But they always pitched it really well. And that's my biggest question mark for this team. And the reason I thought they could have been a juggernaut team to either succeed or fail in this league, like I think they might have been my pick to like jump to the top 10 or to the bottom because pitching was so hit or miss for me. Their bullpen was always a question mark, and that's been a huge question mark this year. And I liked their rotation, but now without Austin Nye and with Nate Taylor not throwing the ball very well on Sunday, his last 2 or 3 starts, I have some real question marks for that team. And I also, Connor Fennell is a good pitcher on Friday night, but I don't think he's like a traditional dude on Friday, right? He's not your 94 to 97 arm. He throws kind of funky and he has that like vertical approach angle that is kind of weird where he like comes from underneath and he throws that fastball that almost like rises up. But it's 88 to 90. It's not this like power arm. So for me, Vanderbilt's question mark is pitching, which is so untraditional, which makes me feel like is Vanderbilt kind of lost it a little bit, but with Steven Esposito and hitting, maybe that's their strength now, and they're going to be a 100-homer team and score a lot of runs. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, not to throw shade on Connor Fennell. Connor Fennell actually follows SEC Unfiltered on social media and friend of the show and what have you. But to your point, when you think about Vanderbilt pitching, like think about the guys that Vandy's had come through that program, and think about who they have now, and there's a difference. They've had guys like
that's all.
David Price and Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter, and there's so many other names that I'm certainly glossing over. But you obviously played against them. It's Vandy they've trot out big leaguer after big leaguer after big leaguer on the mound. They're not quite at that level right now. So, they'll be very interesting to follow in SEC play and just see where they're going to factor in. Because heck, they scuffled a little bit at times last year, and all of a sudden they were the number 1 national seed. It's just you never know with Tim Corbin.
You really never know. Yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee. The one thing I'll say about this, I'm not. You lose a game. Wright State's actually a pretty solid baseball program. You hate to get shut out on your home field, obviously on a Sunday, but shout out to Manny Marin, the slash bunt walk-off. Number one, when's the last time you saw a slash bunt? Number 2, the last time you saw a slash bunt for a walk-off, I believe it was a walk-off single up the middle. Perfectly executed. I know Tegan Coons ranked really high for you in your pitcher power rankings. The Vols are another one where they're sort of a mystery team for me going into SEC play. I'm not buying a bunch more stock than I had before the season. I'm not selling a bunch of stock necessarily, but I do think they've got questions to answer. I think the thing that's really concerning for them, a guy like Levi Clark, like he is ice cold. I think it was Levi Clark, Jay Abernathy, and somebody else. 3 of their big boppers went like 0 for 30 over the weekend. So,
and to your point, Wright State's a good team. They're usually a tournament team. They've struggled a little bit out the gate this year, but they're always going to throw it really well, honestly. And Cam Allen, their Friday guy, is a legit, probably top 5 rounder. So again, like I take it with a grain of salt, and similar to LSU, I'm not looking at those guys as a problem. I think that those guys are going to do just fine this year. Lindsey Nelson is a beautiful park for them to be swinging the bats. I think they're going to be just fine. And I'm in love with their rotation. They are so much better than what I thought. And again, just from an upside standpoint, I think all of their arms, I think Blanco on Sunday, obviously, I think he's more of a college arm, but I still think he's such a good college arm for Sunday. And then they have a freshman too that might sneak into that rotation. But I think their 1-2 punch is as dangerous as anybody, and then their bullpen arms are nasty to me. So I think if their offense can put together, 3 to 6 runs a game, I think they're going to be fine, honestly, and they're going to be a good team in the SEC. That's just what I think. And I think their sticks are good. Like, I think that their 2 through 5 are very solid in that lineup, where if they again score 3 to 5 runs, they're going to be fine.
Anthony, Arkansas losing to Stetson, does that move the needle for you at all? I think Stetson's another one. That's a pretty solid program. I know they haven't had a great start to the season, but
Same.
I've got a buddy down there in Fayetteville actually that works for Stetson, and he's talked about it. He thinks this team's going to be pretty good this year. So I mean, you got a chance to win 3 of 4. You win 3 of 4. You had a really good weekend.
I agree. Stetson's a good. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say Hunter Dietz pitched really well over the weekend. I mean, if you told me the Hatters took 1 game out of 4, I wasn't going to be totally shocked when I saw that one on the schedule.
Exactly. That's a good program. They swing it really well. I think they had like a 280 team batting average coming into it. And I figured like Arkansas would score some runs, and that's today. I'm sure they're going to score some runs in the 4th game against Stetson, and so hopefully they take care of business there. But I was more impressed. Gackle had a nice rebound start where he didn't give up any runs, only 1 walk. So I thought that was positive after his last one. Dietz, to me, again, he's throwing the ball as well as anyone. 2 now back-to-back outings of no earned runs, and I really locked into his last start. Dude, he reminds me so much of Drew Pomerantz. It's crazy. So just from a stuff perspective, even his delivery, everything. So I think that's really good. And I've loved Colin Fisher. So I know he got hit around a little bit on Sunday, but again, I think that's a great 3rd starter for them. So I like Arkansas squad. I really do. I think that they're right in position to win, 16 to 18 games again. So it'll be interesting. Somebody's got to lose games. I don't know who's going to be, but I like Arkansas too. I really do.
Anthony, let's get into the teams that had no trouble this weekend, the best of the rest, if you will. And starting with the 2 teams that, not to spoil the top 25, I'm sure all of you have already seen it, but the top 2 ranked teams in the latest top 25, that being, of course, the Texas Longhorns and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Both of these ho-hum taking care of their business, no problem at all. Texas beats South Carolina upstate in a 3-game sweep. Mississippi State crushes Lipscomb, including that game on Saturday. They beat Lipscomb in 7 innings, 26-0. 26.
It was like 20.
Runs,
it was like
23-0
after 2 or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, they put up a 2 spot in the first, 5 spot in the second, 12 spot in the third. It was 19-0.
That's
after
what it was. Yeah.
3, 23-0 after 4. To your point.
That's what it was. Yeah. Okay. 23 after 4.
Any major takeaways from these 2? I mean, here's what I will say yet again. If we're not going to overreact to the negative, I'm not going to overreact to the positive. I mean, there's nothing really to add from what I think you and I have already said about these teams. Is we think both of them are very, very good. I mean, I think these are certainly right now the 2 teams that are playing the best baseball. I mean, we've talked a ton about Texas and how complete of a team they are, and Mississippi State, very similar. And I think these 2 are going to be really fun to watch in SEC play. Obviously, I think these are going to be 2 battling at the top of the league to win the league. I know Ruger Riojas, a guy you continue to be really impressed with. McPherson at Mississippi State. They both got bona fide studs to lead their rotation. They've got depth on the mound. They've obviously both got depth in the lineup. I mean, there's not much to do other than shower them with praise for what they've done, not just this weekend, but certainly to this point. You can't be feeling much better, I would say, than these 2 clubs are with SEC play approaching.
No, that's exactly right. If you're a fan of either one of those schools, and shit, like I said, I'm kind of becoming a Texas fan, I feel like, at this point, because I like their team so much. But if I had to, and you know how much I've been high on Texas, I really locked in on the starters this weekend for Mississippi State. I really think I might give Mississippi State a slight edge over Texas right now. Sorry, Longhorn fans. Like, just because of the starting rotation, that's just a slight edge. If I had to pick, I think Texas's lineup is a little deeper, and I think that they have more major leaguers on their lineup offensive. I think Texas, when we look back in 5 years, they could have legit 3 to 5 guys that I think are everyday potential all-stars in the major leagues in that lineup. I really do believe that. I think they're that good offensively, like hitters, and obviously Ruger and Volantis, but like Volantis, his last two, he struggled a little, and then Luke Harrison in the middle, he's struggled his last two. So I give a slight edge to Mississippi State because their starters are three guys next year that are probably going to be first rounders, and they are all legit. Like even the Stone dude on Sunday is a 6'6" donkey that was throwing 94 to 96 through like four like perfect innings basically, and was on a pitch count clearly, kind of like monitoring it going into SEC play. So I really like both teams. Mississippi State's rotation to me is really scary, and you know how much I like Riojas and Volantis, obviously. So for me to say that about Mississippi State, McPherson, Valanciunas, however you say his name, Tomas, and Duke Stone are really impressive arms. So I can't wait to get into SEC though and really see the high leverage relievers, because that's how we'll really tell whose bullpen is really strong at the end too. So obviously we'll know about the starters, but you can tell starters stuff and be like, oh shit, that's going to play. It's just a matter of executing pitches at that point, right? But the bullpen is where we'll get more answers, I think, in the SEC too. So that'll really determine who has a better staff and a better team down the stretch and who wins more games. But I mean, both teams look so good. Yeah.
Yeah, your starting rotation is pivotal, make no mistake, but your bullpen is really in this league, I think, what separates you from being good and being great. Do you have those guys, excuse me, do you have those guys in the back end that can shut a game down when you're up a run or two? And like you mentioned, those high leverage situations, that's really what it comes down to. Two things I don't trust, Anthony: college kickers and college bullpen guys. I can't get behind them.
I get it.
Can't get behind them for the most part. There's very few.
I get it. Especially in college. Yeah, no, I get it. I feel like the LSU fans in the chat are starting to question me if they trust me too. That's a lot of people are like, dude, that's the second time I've heard you say you're a Horns fan. I know, but I'm starting to question myself. I'm having man in the mirror moments every weekend. I really am.
I love it. Well, yeah, like you mentioned, those two teams certainly barring, I mean, you never know. SEC play can hit and teams can get humble, but
exactly.
I would fully expect Texas and Mississippi State to be major factors in the SEC championship race. Anthony, the best of the rest, a lot of teams listen, everybody's freaking out as the SEC down. A lot of teams looked really good this weekend. I mean, the Auburn Tigers, starting with them, I see, I believe is it tied to Texas? I lost the comment here, but
yeah, we got to show them some love.
Yeah, certainly show Auburn some love, not just what they did against Winthrop this weekend, which Winthrop, shout out to the Palmetto State, is a really solid program. Get this. Auburn now has 12 straight regular season home series wins. It's the most since 1998 to 2000 when they had 13 straight. They have 17 of the last 20 winning regular season weekends. 17 of their last 20. They've had a winning weekend, second most in the SEC. So this is nothing new for Auburn. This is nothing we should be surprised about. Marciano continues to look really, really good for them out of the gate. I think certainly one of the best arms in the SEC that I would probably argue still not enough people are talking about. And again, this lineup continues to be potent. So Auburn's one that, a lot of folks, like we've talked about before, Anthony, a lot of folks were high on in the preseason. A lot of folks called them a dark horse to compete for the SEC title and win it. And they certainly look every part of that. So I'm excited to watch them as we get into conference play as well.
Yeah, dude, they really do. And anytime you have a pitching staff that can pitch it like that.
Winthrop scored a 1 run in 3 games.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, the Jackson Sanders kid on Saturday, he cracked my top 15 in the power rankings. He looks like Madison Bumgarner the way he throws. So now when you're a sophomore and you're trying to put all that shit together, right? Like that's why Madison Bumgarner was so special, because he timed it up for 15 years and had a delivery that worked. When that kid turns it on, that's scary. Like it's a nasty delivery, and he showed it. He had 10 strikeouts this weekend. So I think that and then Petrovic on Sundays is about as solid as it comes. And the Marciano kid, again, not going to blow you away, but like I just love the way he pitches. Like I shared his chart on my power rankings because you can see his fastballs. Every single one is like up and into righties. I love it. And he literally just owns that zone with fastballs and sliders. and he knows how to pitch. So again, he's a fun guy to watch. He goes right after guys, and I love Auburn's team. I really do. So and their park plays well for their offense. So like I think that they'll be fine. I really do think that they could be a top 15 team throughout the year because of that pitching staff, and they could win, 18 games in the SEC, which is going to put them in a position to host.
Yeah, they continue to look. I mean, I think top 8 national seed is what this Auburn team looks like to me. Very similar to last year. And, we have been wondering, is this the year they finally get back to Omaha? Not that it's been that long, but, is this the year Butch Thompson gets Auburn back to Omaha? And somebody mentioned in the comments, you could argue right now, Anthony, yeah, Butch Thompson, is he the best coach in the SEC? I mean, heck, I don't know. Let's get in SEC play and we can have the combo, but he's one of the best in the game. There's no question what he continues to do with that program. Anthony, let's give some love to Georgia. God forbid we don't. Georgia – no, this comes via the guys over at D1 Baseball. No D1 Baseball top 25 team scored more runs last week than Georgia. They put up 70 runs this past week en route to a 5-1 week. I thought Volchko looked pretty good, actually. I saw some of that game on Friday. Thought he looked pretty decent. I mean, they continue to swing the absolute heck out of it, man.
Yeah.
It's so many different guys. It's not just like the Dan Jacksons of the world or the Colby Branches. Trey Phelps is obviously one of the most fun and exciting players to follow in college baseball. Georgia's another one that I'm so excited to see it translate to SEC play. Like, Georgia, if I know anything about you, I know you can hit non-conference pitching.
Yeah.
Good on you. But this is where the money will be made. It's like a drive for show, putt for dough thing. I know you can hit it 350 yards, but can you make the 10-footer when it counts? We're going to find out, and I'm not saying they can't. It's an intimidating lineup, but we'll really learn who this Georgia team is. But, I mean, they look as dangerous as ever, obviously.
Yeah. I think the same way I feel about Tennessee, and saying that they really only need to score like 3 to 6 runs a game. I think Georgia's going to have to score 6 to 10 runs a game. I really do think that to win games this year. And I think Volchko looks good. I just don't think he's going to be an elite starter that's going to throw up zeros, through 7. So I think he's going to be more of the starter that has a 3.5 ERA and puts you in games in the 6th or 7th inning, right? But he might give up 3 runs and in 7 innings. So I think you're going to have to score 7 runs a game to win games. I really do believe that. And same with Aoki. He's got swing and miss stuff, but it's not overpowering. So there's going to be days that SEC teams are going to score runs on him on Saturday. They have another guy, I think Vig. He had a really nice outing, 7 innings, 11 punchies. Yeah. But again, they don't have the starters that are going to have the explosive swing and miss stuff. Volchko's got good shit. He really does, but it's not what I was hoping for, like when we were talking about them potentially being an Omaha team, because I think if they're going to be an Omaha team, they're going to have to pitch it really well. And that's what we always talked about, right? Is it going to be the year that they develop pitchers to complement the offense? So time will tell, and we'll see in the SEC, but them boys can swing it just like they always can.
Yeah, the comment here, ho-hum dog, Georgia's 1 through 3 in the lineup has 32 home runs.
What's
32.
Their strength of schedule, though? I'm like,
it's bad. No, it's. I mean, here's what I will say, though. Here's what I will say, to be fair, because I don't want to poo-poo on what Georgia has done, because a lot of SEC teams have not. Georgia has probably played the softest, if not one of the softest schedules in the league. They haven't played in a tournament. They haven't played a rivalry series. They've just played all these non-conference, and they played Queens over the weekend. And to be fair, Queens beat South Carolina for what it's worth, if that really matters to you, if that moves the needle for you. So, I don't want to take
teams
away.
You're being very nice, Chris.
I am being nice.
You are being nice.
I don't want to totally take away from what they've done, but I agree with you. Like I said, I'm not overreacting to Georgia to the positive. I'm not overreacting into the positive. Great pitching beats great hitting. Like, let's see if you can do it. You're going to have to pitch to win. I'm sorry. You're going to have to.
I'm a little concerned. I think Volcho is going to give up some homers this year, especially at that stadium. So I'm a little nervous. We'll see. We'll see what their starters
they're
do.
hitting, and again, it's non-conference. They're hitting 353 as a team with 61 home runs. 61 home runs.
They have 61 homers already?
Daniel Jackson's got 14. Dan
What?
Jackson has 14 bombs, and we haven't gotten to conference play.
That's
So,
silly.
Yeah, Brennan Hudson with 10. Trey Phelps has 8. Henry Allen has 7. You just go down the list of guys. So, again, I will say this. I do think Georgia is going to be a quality team, but how balanced can they be from a pitching perspective to hitting perspective? That's going to define who they are. It's just like last year. It really feels like it's very similar to what they were last year. And I agree with you. I still have concerns when it comes on the mound in the SEC. Again, the best of the rest, like we said, keep going. Oklahoma rolls Ole Miss, Alabama, Kentucky, Texas A&M blasted Oakland. They all stay high. How about the Missouri Tigers? How about Mizzou? 11 straight wins, including Saturday, where it looked like Anthony, I was like, oh, not like this, Mizzou. Not like this. We can't end the winning streak like this. I think they were down 12-1 or 12-2. They come all the way back and win this game 13-12.
Crazy.
Get this, Anthony. And listen, I don't know how many SEC games Mizzou is going to win. I have no idea. But Mizzou won 16 games all of 2025. Anthony, they have 14 wins right now.
I know.
Listen, you got to walk before you can run. That's something to celebrate. Kudos to Missouri baseball. Carrick Jackson for leading the early turnaround. 11 straight wins. Who would have thunk it? Nobody would have predicted it. Hey, am I correct? Does Mizzou have a better record than LSU right now?
Yes.
Is that
way better? Yeah, way better. I mean,
who would have thunk it?
Chris,
who would have thunk it?
Not us. Not us. We did over under at 3.5 on their win streak, remember?
I was like, there's no way they win more than 4 games in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, we're there. And so on Friday, I literally said something on Friday Night Spikes because that game, so they were supposed to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So they had played the Thursday game already when I was doing Friday Night Spikes. And then they were down 12-2 or something at that point. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, Javen Pimentel didn't get out of the second inning. I was like, it looks like Mizzou's win streak's going to come to an end, guys. Like, I was like, I've been driving that bandwagon. And then I woke up Saturday. I was like, oh, they didn't finish the game. And then I look back and they won the game. I was like, holy shit. So, yeah, we got to tip the cap. Mizzou, I'm back on the bandwagon. Also, we got to show some love to Kellenbreck, their Sunday guy. He has 34 strikeouts to 3 walks. He had 11 punchies this weekend, so we got to show him some love. He's got to be either tied for the lead in SEC strikeouts, maybe second. So yeah, I guess Ruger's leading it with like 42, but he's up there with like everybody else, second or third in the league in strikeouts. So got to show him some love too after having a really nice performance.
Yeah, really cool to see. We'll see how it goes going into SEC play. But of the others that I mentioned, Anthony, I don't just want to completely gloss over them, although I don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours talking about all these teams super in depth for the non-conference performances. But of the ones I mentioned, I mean, I know you're still really, really high, as you should be, not just on Cam Johnson, but that entire starting rotation really for Oklahoma. Mercurius is a guy that continues, I feel like, climbing your power rankings, your starting pitcher power rankings, both he and Cam Johnson up there to the top. Again, OU, they have no interest in being part of the whole upset thing happening in the SEC. They took care of their business against Santa Clara. Ole Miss sweeps Evansville. Alabama swept North Florida.
I think you owe Tyler Fay an apology. He had a really nice outing.
He's pitching well. He's pitching well. Yeah, I do. I do owe Tyler Fay an apology. So I want to see it in SEC play. But
you're right.
He's turned it on. He's turned it on. Listen, we love to see it. If Bama's going to be that team, obviously they got to have that frontline guy. Maybe he's finally pitching up to his potential. It's good to see.
Miles Upchurch, true freshman, nasty on Sunday too. He had 11 punchies this weekend too. He's nice. I like him.
Yeah. No, he's really good. That was a guy they were really excited about coming into the season for sure. So Alabama looking to kind of round into form at the right time. Kentucky sweeping the Citadel. And I think the big story out of there, Anthony, obviously the return of Tyler Bell. You felt the impact immediately at the start of the weekend. He gets I believe it was a big knock in that game. So great to see him back. One of the SEC's best prospects, one of the SEC's best players, and really excited he's healthy for the beginning of SEC play. That makes Kentucky, we know the pitching's really good, but when you have a guy like Tyler Bell, man, it changes your club. Obviously, Kentucky, a little bit under the radar, the Cats. I think that certainly helps boost them going into conference play.
Yeah, no, I was so nervous. And, I picked them pretty high this year. I thought they had a chance to win 20 games potentially in the SEC. So yeah, no, I think that's so big for them. That was I think they scored like 9 runs against St. John's or something the weekend before. So this was a good weekend for them. I know the Citadel, their stats didn't look the greatest coming into the weekend, and Kentucky definitely swung it better. So I was happy for them that they scored some runs. Obviously, Tyler Bell being back in that lineup definitely rejuvenated them. I'm so sold on Jackson Jelkin on Friday night too. He gave up some shitty contact and some cheap runs early. But what makes a Friday guy is not giving in and being a little bitch, sometimes and giving up early in the games. And so he stayed in there and he wrote it out and he threw up some big zeros towards the end of the outing and kept them in the game right. And they wound up coming back on Friday night after being down 5-0. So I think little things like that kind of give me encouragement too, that some of their guys are dudes. I'm anxious to see why Cleaver's only throwing like 3 innings every time, but his numbers still look good. He's punching everybody out when he's out there. It's just I don't know if they're just keeping him on pitch count, but yeah, I like the Wildcats. And I'm happy that Tyler Bell's back for sure.
Nick Mingione works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's why I was I don't know. We'll see what happens. He's probably Cleaver's probably gonna go 8 shutty the first weekend or something. And be what the hell?
Yeah, he's an interesting cat. Ole Miss, I definitely want to highlight. They look really good. I know Evansville right now, which is a historically good program. Their record does not reflect that at the moment. But Ole Miss, they just continue to be one of those teams, man, that, again, I think one of those tough middle-of-the-pack teams I'm excited to see get into SEC play. Kind of, again, just figure out what they really are. I think there's a number of teams in the league right now that it's, we feel like we know who that batch of, or maybe it's a small number, but the batch of I feel pretty good you're going to be finishing in the top 3 or 4 in the SEC. But there's a large group where you're either going to go one way or the other way. And I think Ole Miss is one that there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, but there's still a lot of questions to be answered for them.
Yeah, I agree. And Hunter Elliott's one of them for me. He is just, he's been such a stable guy in his career, and he's definitely struggling with little command issues right now. So that makes me a little nervous for him and them. And but Cade Townsend, that kid looks pretty electric, and I really think he might start Friday night. I wouldn't be surprised just because of the way that Hunter Elliott's been throwing and the way that Townsend, and his numbers are silly. So yeah, I don't know. I like their team still, but to your point, if we said they only win 10 games in the SEC, I'd be like, oh, okay, I see it. So it could be either way for them, same way.
Yeah, that schedule is still daunting, no doubt.
Exactly.
Texas A&M sweeping Oakland, again, the team that you're very familiar with. We had a question in the comments earlier, Anthony. Somebody wanted to get your thoughts on Shane Sadeo for Texas A&M.
I like Sadeo. I think he's a really solid Friday night guy. I don't think he's gonna overpower anybody in the SEC, and you can kind of tell that because he's right at a 1K per 9, or 1K per inning basically, at 9 Ks per 9, and so he's a lefty that competes, and he's 90 to 93, and I like the way that he throws his slider off of his fastball. So I think he competes with anybody, and Texas, and for me, their starters again are more in line with the Georgia starters. They need to be, if Sadeo throws a 3.5 ERA this year, I think that puts them in a really nice position to win a lot of games this year, because I like their offense. I think their offense is going to score 3 to 7 or 8 runs a game against anybody, and so I think if Sadeo can hold them down and give them quality starts, 3 runs in 6 innings every Friday night, I think you're in a really nice position. Weston Moss does his thing on Saturday, and I like Sims on Sunday. I think A&M's in a really nice position. I really do. So I like Sadeo as a Friday night starter in this league.
Yeah, and the bat swung it well this weekend, Anthony. We really appreciate your local Oakland boys serving as sacrificial lambs for the SEC of the last couple of weeks. That's
Dude, I
really,
feel so bad for those guys, man. Oh my God.
Hey, listen. I mean, again, you look at it one of two ways.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be weathered for conference play. I'm sure they're ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we've seen the best. We ain't gonna see nobody else that looks like
it. Can't get worse than this. Yeah, I feel bad for them,
but
they had the 100 innings kind of taken away from them. They had 2 starters Friday and Saturday right before that trip, that are out for the season. So that's never really good. That's 120 innings or 150 innings, that you're just taking away.
Yeah, it's tough to say the very least. Final one, Anthony. South Carolina got their first sweep of the season. The Fighting P-Moneys, they take down Princeton in a 3-game set. Don't sleep on Princeton. Don't sleep on the Gamecocks. Here they come, bouncing back from the rivalry weekend loss to Clemson. Again, they sweep Princeton. Good on you. Good on you, South Carolina.
Good for them, yeah.
I saw Paul Maneri get a little fired up this weekend. I don't know if you saw the video of him. Logan Sutter, I think, made an error or something, and he came out and made a pitching change, and he gave a little ass chewing to Logan Sutter. So,
all right. Hey, we
Paul
need that.
Maneri still got a little juice. There's a little juice in there.
That's good because that was one of my concerns. I was wondering if he still had that in him a little bit, And yeah, they were supposed to sweep this weekend. I wrote that in my preview. They like Princeton. This isn't the normal Princeton squad. They were coming in limping pretty bad if you looked at their stats. So if South Carolina didn't sweep, I was going to be talking about that this weekend for sure. So they needed those 3 wins heading into SEC. Gunther's got to pitch better. He didn't even really dominate Princeton like I wanted him to. He gave up some hits. So he's got to lock it in on Friday nights for them in order for them to be competitive, Amp Phillips has got to do his job on Saturday or Sunday, wherever he fits in there. So, we'll see what happens there, but I don't know what we can expect from them in the SEC.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Say the very least in Columbia. I don't know how many South Carolina fans feel much better because of what happened, but
yeah,
hey, sweep.
At least there was a sweep. At least there was a sweep.
Sweep. First one of the season. It might be the last one of the season.
After you told me that Sunday stat, I don't feel great that there may be going a lot of sweeps this year.
yeah, that's doesn't bode well. Anthony, before we get into the midweek, glue guy of the weekend and Kangaroo Court. Do we have any? I didn't even write these down, admittedly. Ooh. So we can think of these on the fly. I joked with you on social media, but honorable mention at minimum, glue guy of the weekend for me is the IV that I got in Nashville because it brought me back. It brought me back to life on Friday. At least assisted in getting me back to life. Got some fluids on me. Got a little B12.
I like it.
Certainly helped. So shout out to them for helping a boy who was down bad on Friday afternoon. I'll give glue guy the weekend. I'll go with the Manny Marin kid. The slash bunt walk off on Friday night for Tennessee. That was probably the coolest play of the weekend. That was the coolest play of the weekend to me. I loved it. Like I was like, because I remember being a kid and doing a slash bunt, and I feel like that's such a lost art. I'm sure when you get slash bunt, you're like, really? Slash bunt? I'm almost surprised they still teach a slash.
I was just gonna say, I was like, I don't know who even teaches that,
Yeah. The moment we got that video where Josh Donaldson was like drop and drive and they don't pay you to hit singles in the big leagues.
Yeah, I think
we lost all small ball. We lost all small ball after that. Yeah. So
yeah. All right. I'm going for glue guy. I love that. Glue guy, I'm going Tyler Bell. He didn't have a great weekend or anything, but he had a couple RBIs yesterday. But to me, I kind of put it in my preview. I said, I hope that the research. I didn't know if he was going to play. We didn't know if he was going to play. but I said that they were going to have to score some runs this weekend. I wanted to see them swing some bats after St. John's, and that kind of stuff. So they scored double-digit runs all three games this weekend. That was a really good sign, and I really just think that when you have a resurgence and that guy that could potentially be a top 10 pick for you come back, and a guy that chose to come to school to try to do something special, that gives you that kind of like that energy. So to me, that's a glue guy type thing. When your team scores 9 and then double digits each one of the games when you get back in the lineup, I love that shit. I'm a big Kentucky fan, so I'm going Tyler Bell for my glue guy of the weekend.
That's the ultimate glue guy, I think. Tyler Bell is the epitome of what a glue guy is. So no, I love that pick as well. Do we have a kangaroo court for the weekend? Is there? I'll be honest with you, I can't really think of one.
Yeah. I had one from the Florida game, and I'm blanking on it right now. It was something with against Liam Peterson, and I forget what it was. But it'll come to me. But it was hilarious that I was just like, oh my god, that is so kangaroo court. I forget what it was, but it'll come to me, and maybe I'll have it by Thursday. Yeah,
I've actually got one, Anthony. It's not college baseball related. Have you been watching the World Baseball Classic?
Yes, a little bit.
Did you see Team USA's game against Brazil? And I believe it's Bo Bichette's younger brother.
Oh,
he's got green hair. He's got, dude, kangaroo court for the most outrageous. Dude, he's doing like the full Joker look. His hair is like the Joker green. Bracelets are outrageous. He's got it feels like he's got like 10 chains on. He's got like a ring on, dude. Like he is the most outrageous looking person.
Oh my god, I gotta go look this up.
It's Dante Bichette Jr. It's Dante Bichette Jr. It's Bichette's younger brother. I mean, I'm sure he's a fine baseball player, but he looks just absurd.
I gotta go find it. Absurd,
bro. Yeah, it's outrageous. It's just outrageous. By the way, Chinook with a great comment here. Glue guy of the week is Mother Nature showing up and showing out with great weather. We have had pretty good weather to this point in the season. Not a ton of rain. I think we had a little bit of movement this past weekend with some weather, but all in all, weather's been pretty good.
Some people face some weather this weekend, but I think there was a lot of nice weather too. Yeah. Wait, is that true? Tied to Texas? Stetson has 4.
They are playing right now.
Oh my god.
Stetson up on Arkansas 4-1, top of the first. It's a good thing. It's a good thing I don't drop my power rankings until Tuesday. A lot of game left. Yeah. We'll see.
Well, I told you, I was like, I think Arkansas is going to score a lot of runs against their bullpen today too. So that could be this could be a 14-12 game easily.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting though. Again, Monday baseball in the SEC. You got to love it. All right, we're going to get into the midweek, guys. We got a lot of show left as well. Before we do, though, I want to tell you about our friends over at Underdog, because as always, we're brought to you by our friends at Underdog. Guys, fast breaks, buzzer beaters, block parties are back, and Underdog's the best place to get in on all of the action. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. If you get your picks right, going to 5,000 times your cash. Guys, the SEC basketball tournament is officially here. College baseball in full swing. March Madness is around the corner. World Baseball Classic. There is a ton to put action on when it comes to our friends at Underdog. So make sure you download the app today. Use promo code SECU to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Once again, that is promo code SECU. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 and up, 19 up in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 up in Colorado for some games, 21 and up in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play, call 1-800-MY-RESET or 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. All right, Anthony, a little bit of a lighter midweek slate this week, obviously with conference play upcoming this weekend. I actually heard a lot of coaches, Anthony. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. If there's any, if there's really any reason to dig into this. I heard a lot of coaches essentially say, hey, our guys have been playing a bunch of games. I heard Kevin O'Sullivan say, I think we've played the most games in the SEC to this point. I heard Jay Johnson say this, that, we only have one midweek. Guys are able to get off their feet. That is the good news for everyone this weekend. There is only one midweek game. Anthony, really quickly, I mean, are guys tired at this point? Is that even a valid thing where it's like when you play Tuesday, Wednesday, and you play Friday through Sunday, is that a justifiable thing? Like guys are a little bit worn and it's helpful to go to one midweek versus two midweeks?
I bet you. I mean, yes, it's definitely significantly different in the sense of one game versus two for sure. But I think this early in the year is kind of hard. It depends on the travel schedule. I think some schools were traveling a little bit, but I don't know everybody's travel schedule. If you've had a predominantly home schedule, I think that's a pretty weak excuse in my opinion. But if you've been traveling, maybe there's some validity there. But I don't think there's an excuse to be tired early this early. I don't know. That's just me. I know when we were playing, we wouldn't be complaining about being tired rolling into SEC play. That's for sure.
Well, the good news again for all these teams, Anthony, like I mentioned, there are no games on Wednesday, only Tuesday games for the midweek slate. And then, of course, we all get ready for the start of conference play. But it is an interesting Tuesday slate, to say the very least. We've got Tennessee Tech in Knoxville. How about Florida State down in Gainesville? A little rivalry action.
Nice.
And they play these in the midweek. I wish it was a weekend series, but either way, they I believe it's one in Gainesville, one in Tallahassee, and one in Jacksonville they play.
Wow.
So this will be the Gainesville showdown, Florida State, Kentucky, Ball State, Alabama, Troy. That'll be a fun matchup in Tuscaloosa. Auburn, UAB. That should be a pretty fun competitive game. Ole Miss travels to Southern Miss. Enough said. That will be a really fun game. Texas travels to Texas State. If you have watched these games over the years, you Texas fans, we don't have to explain to you that trip to San Marcos is no joke. South Carolina goes to the Citadel, interestingly enough. Vanderbilt takes on Indiana State in Nashville. Mississippi State travels to Tulane. A lot of SEC teams on the road.
I was just going to say, a lot of traveling. Wow.
After everybody's talking about, we're getting off our feet. No,
exactly.
You're actually,
it doesn't sound
you're
like
actually going on the road. Yeah, you're going on the road. LSU hosts Creighton. Certainly they will be excited to get back on the diamond and try to right the ship, if you will, going into SEC play. Oklahoma hosts UTA. Texas, Arlington. Don't forget what UTA did to Arkansas earlier.
Yeah, they're top 25 now. I don't know how they did this weekend, but they got some top 25 love after that weekend at Arkansas.
Yeah. So that'll be an interesting midweek in Norman. Mizzou will look to make it 12 straight. They host Southern Indiana, and Texas A&M hosting Stephen F. Austin in College Station. Anthony, your thoughts on the midweek slate? I mean, I think the ones that jump out are pretty obvious, especially that rivalry showdown, Florida State. Those games always seem to deliver.
I love those games. And then also, how about Southern Miss? They hosted Mississippi State last weekend, right? And then they got Ole Miss this week. Good for them. I love that shit. And they beat Mississippi State last weekend, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, dude, Southern Miss was one of my Omaha picks.
They look legit. Like, not like, oh, it's an Omaha team. Like, they're like a very, very good team. Yeah. So yeah, that's a really good pick. So that one sticks out to me too. Troy and Alabama, I think that's an interesting one too. I think we kind of like glazed over Alabama. North Florida was a good win for them this weekend too. So I think another solid midweek win for them would be some really, really nice momentum. But I wouldn't be also shocked or like surprised or disappointed if they lost a midweek game against Troy, either rolling into SEC. I wouldn't think it's the end of the world either. So, but I do think that's interesting because I think Troy's a good program usually.
Yeah, I'm really excited, admittedly, Anthony, to sit down and really lock in, because I think this is a really interesting midweek slate, and we're going to have some SEC teams that fall. I don't think there's any question. These are some really fun competitive games. Interestingly enough, somebody points out, Anthony, this is Texas's first true road game all season. Took them 16 games.
And you see that latest one right there too. Texas State is 12-3, and they knocked off Texas last year. Maybe it's Texas's first loss right before SEC play. That would be wild.
Have you? I don't know if you saw the game. This happened a couple years ago, but there's a GIF of it too. The Texas State pitcher throwing the horns down after he strikes out the last guy.
No,
threw it
really?
at their dugout. threw it at their dugout. So I've actually got a buddy here in Nashville that went to Texas State, and he's told me that, it's funny. Most of the people that go to Texas State are Texas fans, but it's one of those things that you're always going to pull for your school, and they take a lot of joy in beating Texas, as does every school in the state of Texas, though. So, yeah. I mean, outside of that, again, like I said, going to be really interesting. How does LSU respond? The two Alabama schools, I agree with you. Ole Miss going to Southern Miss is fascinating. Florida State, like I mentioned. Dude, Tennessee Tech at Knoxville. Tennessee Tech known for swinging the hell out of it. So
and at Knoxville too. Yeah, they could get some balls that fly.
Yeah. Mississippi State, Tulane. It's a really, really fun midweek slate. I know you and I are both looking forward to. Anthony, before we get out of here, D1 baseball top 25 was officially released this morning. Would love to get your thoughts on it. As you could imagine, ton of movement here. UCLA remains the number 1 team in the country, as expected. Texas slides up to 2. Mississippi State slides up to 3. The rest of the SEC, we've got Arkansas at 5, Auburn at 6, Georgia at 8, Oklahoma at 9. They slide in the top 10. LSU falls all the way to 13 from the number 2 spot after their tough week. We've then got Tennessee at 19, Kentucky at 21, A&M at 22. Florida tumbles all the way to 23rd. I believe they were 9th last week. And that rounds out the top 25. 11 SEC teams are in the top 25. So very well represented, but certainly a shakeup. Thoughts on the top 25? Do you feel like the drop for LSU and Florida was a little harsh, or do you feel like it was justified?
This is, again, my LSU fans, people are going to really start questioning me.
It's okay. They think I'm an LSU homer, and then they think I'm an LSU hater, depending on what day it is. So
I think LSU is a little lower than that for me right now. So I would have them probably around 20-ish. And I think there was somewhere that had them at 23. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, that's a little knee jerk. And then I was like, nah, I think that's actually not bad, honestly. Like, I think that's a good fitting spot for them after this week and losing 5 out of 6 games, like I really do. So I think LSU is a little highly ranked. And again, this is just week to week. That's my perspective. I think Arkansas is a little high. I think that they're not number 5 for me. I think they're more like middle of the pack. I think Auburn should be higher than them. And I think Oklahoma should be higher than them. And I think Georgia's a little high. Those are my thoughts. But I think it's not, again, it's rankings are rankings. I think when SEC comes out this week, we'll get a much clearer picture. But I'm anxious to see your power rankings today too, or tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm. You should be interested, to say the very least. I mean, listen, you don't want to overreact, but it's like you have to react because, again, this season's not as long as people think it is. I mean, I think it was justified for both. If anything, I would say the Florida drop was maybe a little much. Because again, they've been playing great baseball up to that point.
Agree. They just beat Miami. Yeah, like I agree.
Right. So I mean,
that's why I think LSU and Florida could be switched, and I'd be fine with it, honestly. Like 13 and 20, whatever their switch was, I'd be like, okay, that's good. Like I really think
I don't think LSU fans will be upset with me for where they are on the power rankings because I think LSU fans are smart. They know baseball. They know they're not playing worth a damn. I mean, it is what it is. I think I will probably catch some flack. People will think I don't have Florida low enough. They're going to drop. Don't get me wrong, but if it turns into a trend, okay. But I don't think one bad weekend, or is it more than that? I think that's the big question we have to find.
If Barbary, whatever, like doesn't give up that 3 spot or whatever, and cruises again, they win that game. You know what I'm saying? And it's a 2-1 weekend, and it's like, all right, whatever. And so again, baseball is baseball. I think it was just finicky the way that it looked, that it was Friday and Saturday that they lost. You know what I'm saying? So, and that they were down so much on Sunday. So I think it's just, that's a little jarring, but I don't think it's cause for like, oh my God, they're, a bottom 25 or whatever in the 25 range or whatever.
Anthony, I want to get in some questions really quickly. Again, that is the D1 baseball top 25. really fun to discuss and talk about. I want to get in some questions when we close out the show, but really, really quickly, I want to give a thanks to our friends over at Edmunds for sponsoring the show. Yes, selling your car can feel harder than watching your team lose a midweek game. Edmunds has all the tools you need to make buying or selling your car easier with their online car appraisal tool. You can see how much your car is worth and even get instant offers for your car. It's free, and it takes as little as 2 minutes. Guys, I've actually been in the market looking around. It's awesome, too, because, again, you can go over to Edmunds. You can get a look on exactly how much your car is worth, what it be worth for a trade-in, what have you. You don't even have to be selling your car. Just make sure you're in the know. You have all of the knowledge right there at your fingertips. Hey, it might surprise you. It may not. Are you in the market to buy? Are you in the market to sell? You're going to find out a lot when you do it with our friends over at Edmunds. Over 50 years of trusted car shopping advice and price guidance all in one place. Edmunds' unbiased reviews and industry expertise help you buy or sell cars with confidence. Your car appraisal and offer can be used as leverage at dealerships to trade in your car or to sell your car to a dealer. And like I mentioned, even if you're not ready to sell, you can check to see how much your car is worth, keep tabs on the value of your car. Even if you're just curious, check your car's value with their free tool. And like I mentioned, the appraisal tool, it's easy and it's free to use. So if you're selling your car, check your car's value today. Make sure you're calling the right play. You can find out how much your car is worth quicker than a commercial break. Go to edmunds.com/appraisal. That's EDMUNDS.com. Edmunds, we drive it like it is. And again, we appreciate our friends at Edmunds for their love and support of the show. Anthony, before we get out of here, let's take a couple quick questions. Again, we see y'all in chat. We appreciate you all being engaging. Let's see. Ty to Texas says it is 4-0. Stetson on Arkansas ahead of the top of the second. An RBI single and a 3-run bomb for Stetson in the first. Great. Love it.
I just saw somebody talk about Texas's rotation. That is something that I did add Sam Cozart into my power rankings today. The freshman phenom from Texas that is a size 18 shoe. He's a 6'6", 260-foot donkey. Yeah, and if Luke Harrison keeps throwing the way that he is, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the Sunday starter and you move Volantis up to Saturday after Ruger. That's a pretty nasty rotation.
Yeah, I love that Texas rotation, to your point. They're so deep. They're so deep. I want to get into this comment really quickly, Anthony. Tyler Coleman says, what worries me about LSU is none of them look like they even want to be on the field outside of 1-2. I trust Jay Johnson, but I think he whiffed on some portal guys. Here's what I would say to that. I don't think it's that guys don't care. I just think baseball guys are not going to overreact to losing a game. They're just not. Like when there's 60 games to play, 56, 54, whatever it is, you're just not going to see them. Players are never, I don't care what the sport is, they're not going to take it as hard as fans from the standpoint of like externally. Like when these teams lose, I don't think there's a reaction the players could have, Anthony, that like would satisfy the fans. Like, oh, he showed me that losing upset him. I promise you they're not trying to lose the game. I promise you. So, like, I mean, what do you think? Like, I mean, I thought the portal haul they brought in was really good. I mean,
yeah.
You know,
I think, again, I think they're slumping. If these guys were on fire going into the SEC, we would be all like praising Jay Johnson and saying, oh, the portal master again, right? Like, so it's just a perspective right now. That's all I think it is. And I saw the same things on Twitter of people being like, oh, this is what happened when you don't spend in the portal. And I'm like, what? I think we're fine, guys. Like, you know, like, again, it'll all play out in the SEC and time will tell. But yeah, no, I don't think this is a result of a bad portal at all. Like this is a slump. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's anybody who's spending in the portal, it is the LSU Tigers.
I don't think the spending was the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue at all. Let's see. We'll take a few more here. We got this earlier in the show. BW Pro, Auburn fan here. Hopefully y'all talk about us for more than 30 seconds, unlike last week. Feels like all we've done is win, and we get barely any attention. 1 run allowed this weekend. Yes, I feel like we gave more than 30 seconds today. Auburn looks fantastic, man. I mean, they look like one of the best teams in the SEC, being totally honest.
No, so, they really do. And with Chris Rembert there too, they have the first rounder, they have the pitching. There's a lot of the things that you that you hear about as storylines when you think about an Omaha team, right? Like they have a lot of those makings, the legendary coach, everything. So all the storylines are there for Auburn, and the eye test is definitely passing. So,
yeah. Our guy Sandman, by the way, he mentioned he's calling it right now. He thinks that Texas is going to lose to Texas State. That was earlier in the show. I saw him comment that. So,
whoa,
my guy Sandman's probably one of the most realistic Texas fans you will ever run across. But he says LSU baseball is in disarray. #fire Kiffin. A little bit of a joke at the football side. Corey Thibodeau says same thing happened to us in March last year. Now we got beat to hell by Northwestern State and still ended up winning it all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, that team went through adversity too.
In 2009, when we won the championship, we always talk about losing a series against Illinois early in the year. It was one of the best things that happened to us because it forced us to look at our team differently and examine things that we didn't really had examined to that point, right? So again, sometimes that's the best things that happen to teams, and it forces you to look at things differently.
Indeed. Again, the adversity either makes you or breaks you, and with that, we are on to conference play. Really good stuff, Anthony. Again, I'm looking forward to the Thursday show, if I'm being totally honest. Excited for the midweek, obviously. I don't want to gloss over it. It's going to be a fun midweek slate tomorrow night. Heck, we got probably a fun rest of a game in Fayetteville today.
Yeah, exactly.
Selfishly, though, getting to talk SEC play that Thursday show is going to be electric. I'm really excited. And again, man, appreciate you holding it down late last week. And it was great to get back on the air with you. I certainly missed being on with you last week. So, guys, we appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the comments, the engagement, the banter. As always, you guys make this show what it is. It's always a ton of fun. And your passion for SEC baseball and SEC sports is what gives us the opportunity to sit here and ramble on for about an hour and a half or so every Monday and Thursday, and, of course, on Friday nights as well. So, in the meantime, we appreciate you all tuning in. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Make sure, as always, hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, all across your favorite social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. Make sure you follow Anthony Ranaudo at Anthony_Ranaudo. Also, follow all of Anthony's work when it comes to not just the pitcher power rankings, but Anthony, I know you're doing a lot of stuff when it comes to, your own side pieces, but also you're doing previews, you're doing predictions. Let them know exactly where to go. I mean, the easiest place, go to Anthony's socials, check out ours as well. We're reposting them all the time when he posts them up, but let the people know where they can check that out, because you're doing great work on your end from the standpoint of giving people even more value when it comes to SEC baseball.
No, thank you. I appreciate it, dude. And I got to thank you, because when you asked me to do this show, I was excited, but I knew it would send me down a rabbit hole, dude. And it's sparked a new love for like analyzing and scouting players, and I've connected with some parents of some players, and it's been a really cool journey. So I've been, I share a lot of stuff on my social media and my Twitter, which is at Anthony Ranaudo. So Anthony_Ranaudo, Ranaudo. But then I added a Substack this year because it's been so fun doing this stuff. That's where I do all my rankings and everything. And that's at RanaudoWrites.com. So RANAUDO Writes.com. And that's been fun. So I add some stuff there. I also do some stuff where I like provide some insight into breaking down what I think starting pitching is about, and different insights into like players' mindsets too. So I appreciate you, dude. It's been such a fun journey, and it's allowed me to like learn college baseball more than I ever, thought I could too. So appreciate you.
No, for sure. Appreciate you, my man. It's really been cool to see. Again, make sure y'all check that out, RanaudoWrites.com, and we'll also continue to share it on our socials. And pitcher power rankings graphic today will be out later today. So make sure you pay attention to that. Guys, outside of that, again, appreciate you all. Yeah, watch Team USA today. It's Paul Skeens bump day.
Let's go.
Team USA is about to just dominate with Paul Skeens on the mound. So, again, we appreciate you guys very much. We'll be back on Thursday to talk conference weekend number 1 as we really get it going on this SEC baseball season. Until then, for Anthony Ranaudo, I'm Chris Phillips. This is Glue Guys. We appreciate you all tuning in. Y'all have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you all on Thursday. Cheers.